Hey guys, okay. Have the day off. Today's, I don't know, it's a weird day. I woke up just not feeling great. My sinuses, it's all coming from my sinuses, but pretty sure it's weather related because there's other people that have just said they were feeling like crap today. Been doing some research and listening to some other things that have been put out there about this exact stuff, and there's quite a few things behind it. It's being done on purpose. There's more to trying to figure out how to put this. There's a lot more to the supposed cloud cover and lines you see in the sky. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I'm trying to avoid topics like that on my channel because it is a fairly new channel and I don't want to get the strikes on my channel, so anyway, I won't talk about that. So I just kind of wanted to catch you guys up a little bit. I'll work on stuff out of the book. I've been working on my quilt. I wanted to show ya. I've got 2 sections sewn together so far. Show ya that. I think it's actually turning out pretty cool. My sister really likes it. Speaking of which, my sister is going to be coming down here for a visit starting on May 30th. So that'll be pretty awesome. The next set that I started for the quilt is the blue and red with pink. So that's the next set. I have the one little set of the square done, and I'm working on that one. I started working on that last night. So, anyway, the weather cooled off quite a bit, but I do think I'm going to go ahead and start planting today. I haven't done anything with it. I have 4 of my herbs I need to replant. So, or repot, rather. Show you guys. They're actually looking pretty good. This is the Greek oregano, and this is the lemon thyme. There. The Greek oregano, yeah, I've definitely got to repot that because the roots are coming down through it, so definitely have to repot those. And my lavender, I'm not having good luck with lavender. I don't know what the deal is with it. Here's my rosemary. Looks like it's doing pretty good. I've got to get that repotted because it's getting pretty tall. Yeah, see, my lavender's not doing real great. So I'm gonna replant it or repot it, I should say. Go from there. Hopefully it'll start doing better. My other one did start getting some new growth on it. Those are outside, but anyway, so just want to do a little catch-up video, and I'm definitely going to be working on the channel out of the book today. Trying to think of... I had to work the last couple of days. Easy Mart's gonna be kind of screwed today because I woke up feeling like crap. I'm not on the schedule today. Andrew's at his other job, so he's calling in today, and I'm not going in to cover it. I don't care. Tired. I wasn't on the schedule today. I was there really late last night. I was up late because of that. And I woke up not feeling good, so. And not being on the schedule, I cannot get penalized for not going in and covering someone else's shift, so. Anyway, that's not the point. Yes, I'm looking for a different job. I'm being held up on getting the Etsy store going. Because I either need a postal scale or I need to take stuff down to the post office. Probably be easier just to get a postal scale. I might just have to give in and just send for one. They're only about $20-25, so I might just have to send for one. Plus, I need my other table for seeds because I've got to start way more than what I've got room for. That little table is just not big enough. So, I don't know. I don't know how cold it's going to get tonight. If it's going to get a lot colder, I'm going to have to bring in my other lavender plant. Because I found out it's very cold sensitive. At least when it's young. It got some cold damage to it before. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm tired. But, like I said, I just want to do a little catch-up video, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pull some stuff out of the book and start working on that. Give you guys some good information today. I almost forgot where I left off, to be honest. Let me see. I can almost pull that back up later if I have to. Pull up my channel. See what the last one was I did. Because I don't remember. Chapter 2. What do you bring to the table? Assessing abilities. Okay. So we're on accessing resources and do you need land? Wow. Stupid pug. Sorry, I'm just looking at something. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish this chapter on this video. Here we go, guys. Assessing resources. Do you need land? Now that you know what you and your family members can do and what each of you brings to the table, now's the time to determine whether or not you need land. The answer, believe it or not, is probably no. Well, we have our property and we do need land for what we're planning on doing, especially with the fruit trees and bushes and our orchard and animals, because you need land for animals. So yeah, we need land, but we have our property, so. And guys, we have been paying on our property now for a year. And while we're still paying Classic Country, they will pay our property taxes for us. And we only had to pay them an extra $6 excuse me, to cover the property taxes. So I don't know if that's what it's initially going to be, but that's all they charged us. So, okay. Having a homestead in this day and age is just as much about a lifestyle as it is about a location. As mentioned in Chapter 1, you can homestead in an apartment if you want to, and with the proper preparation and plan, you can grow plenty of food and keep animals on any size property. Bees can be kept on rooftops, chickens can be kept in window enclosures. Check out Chris McLaughlin's book, Vertical Vegetable Gardening, to get all sorts of ideas on how to maximize your space. These are homesteaders producing thousands of pounds of food on small urban plots. There's no limit to what can be done with the proper preparation and effort. There are even some municipalities that allow residents to keep milk goats because the animals are legally considered pets. So if you're interested in homesteading, the answer to whether you need land is probably no. But whether you want land is not a different consideration altogether. Be aware, if you decide to run out and find a 19th century farmhouse on 40 acres in Vermont, that's going to be a considerable cost. Plus, you might end up being in a haunted house, you guys. I've seen too many of those. A lot of old houses come with more than just their share of history. They come with ghosts and demons. Ghosts are demons, but we're not going to get into that. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with taking out a mortgage for your dream property, but don't expect your fledgling homestead business to cover your house payment for the next 30 years. Note you can also upgrade to any point in time. It's a lot easier to buy more property than it is to sell if you find yourself in a situation where you've overextended your credit and overleveraged your income. Or if you end up in a house that's so haunted that you're being targeted and your life is in danger. And that is definitely a true to life thing because it does happen. Being saddled with an upside down mortgage, despite what you may think of your dream property, is not homesteading, as it violates the principle of self sufficiency. Even if you decide that taking on more debt is something that you're able to do, don't jump into any long-term debt agreement without serious thought and long-term planning. Well, my bad. We got our property. We're paying Classic Country. But I also know that if it became necessary to move on to the property in the camper trailer, we could do it. Because as long as we have a way to and from town, we could do it. Now, as far as our bills here, without the trailer here, without living in town, we would save the $500 on rent. We would save about $200 a month on our electric, which all things considered, I mean, no, we don't use about, even if you, all things considered, if we use, well, yeah, it is about $200 a month. If you figure the highest you can, about $7 a day, that's $210 a month. So yeah, about $200. We don't use $6 a day unless we're running heaters or air conditioners. We don't have air conditioners in here. I did turn the heater on a little bit because it's pretty chilly in here this morning. But anyway, so that's $700. We wouldn't have our internet here, so that would be another $85 that we would save. We would not have our gas bill. That's $60. $785 plus 60. 5, 4. $845. I look really tired, you guys. I'm sorry, I am really tired. So without considering anything else, we would save $845 a month not living here. So, but I mean, it's going to take some doing. Out of that 845 that we would save, I would have to set up like hotspot type internet up on the property. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, but that's and that $845, the only other main bill we have is the $416 for the property. And that's the property is the permanent thing, not this. So, and if I do happen to get an online job to where I don't have to be hardwired to the internet, then I can do that job up there. So, anyway. Another thing to be aware of is this. Land is cheaper to lease, especially farmland. In North Carolina, the average cost of leased farmland is $250 a year. It's not much more expensive than in the most parts of North America. And if you're determined and looking in the right place, you can lease space in community gardens, go into a share arrangement with animals. I know several families that entered into agreement to share a milk cow and so much more. Many areas all over the country have farm incubator programs, incubator kitchens to start foodstuff businesses, and more. While a lot of those different plans hinge around the infrastructure in your region, city, county, there's still a lot to be done in areas that aren't as populated with it, and with it, when it comes to the homesteading local food movement. There may be an elderly couple in your neighborhood that cannot take care of their lawn anymore, so you could make an agreement with them that you get to plant vegetables in their backyard in exchange for keeping the front grass trimmed. Most people, if approached with kindness and honesty, are usually willing to help out their neighbors. A recent movement, the Farm-A-Yard organization, has a program designed specifically for small-scale farmers to raise commercial crops instead of grassy lawns. You can find out more at farmayard.com. Well, I would be careful about that because they might require you to use chemicals. And I do not recommend that at all. Notes on zoning and HOA rules. As you make the determination on buying, leasing, or whatever, be aware of zoning regulations and homeowners association rules. Spit on my book. May not be the most hospitable where you live. Before you start tearing up your fescue lawn to replace it with rows of heirloom bean plants, make sure you're not violating some city regulation or HOA rule. If you do wind up on the bad side of these regulations, you could be in for an abundance of legal fees. If you happen to challenge these regulations in court, you might win, but you'll spend more on your attorney than you would ever gain. The best thing to do is see what is allowed in your neighborhood and work within those parameters, if possible. If not, then work to change those regulations. With an increased awareness of food security and farm-to-table movement, many city council members are willing to hear your requests for change in zoning regulations and laws, especially if you work with your neighbors, to craft rule changes that benefit everyone while remaining respectful. Example, hens only for backyard chicken coops. HOAs are notoriously difficult to change, but not impossible. You may have to run for a spot on your HOA board in order to bring about positive change. Again, remember that no matter what, requests made with kindness and respect for your neighbors will have a lot better chance to become the new law of the land. You might also consider working with your city and neighborhood leaders to establish a community garden space. There's more than one way to bring about change, and of course, you can always rent space in a different area to raise your chickens, veggies, bees, etc. You will never be an expert, so you might as well get started. Let's assume for the sake of argument that once you're done with your list of abilities, knowledge, and resources, you look it over and see it woefully empty. So that would be me. Well, I'd encourage you to try again because most people have something that they can build on. You have to understand something about homesteading. There's no such thing as an expert. And that's That's what I've said, I mean, in so many words. I've been gardening on my own for about 5, 6 years, and I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning. There's a lot I don't know. And shoot, I found out from Andrew that, he knows way more about a lot of plants and stuff that I do. So, I'm learning things from him, and I know my sister knows quite a bit. So, and she's picked up some stuff from me as well. So, a Canadian documentary, To Make a Farm, featured several first generation farmers. One of the farmers was a woman who raised heritage pigs, chickens, and sheep. She had little to prior experience in farming and ranching before embarking on her adventure. In the film, however, she mentioned that it didn't bother her. To paraphrase, she pointed out that there's no such thing as a farming expert. If a person's lucky, they'll bring in, say, 30 crops in their lifetime. She pointed out there's nothing a person can do just 30 times and be considered an expert. Homesteading, which can be a form of farming, is exactly like that. There's no way you'll be able to learn enough about all the skills a homesteader practices to be considered an expert on any of them. So embrace your ignorance and get started. The best way to learn homesteading is by doing it. Read tons of books, ask lots of questions, get your hands dirty, and make mistakes. If you wait until you know all there is to know, if you wait until you know all there is you want to know, you'll never get started. So, maybe it's going to depend on the money situation. That's why I said a couple of years on the bees, because I don't know if I'm going to have the money to get everything here. Helpful skills to learn. While you're assessing your skills, you might want to put together a list of things to learn. Here are some things I started to learn when I began homesteading. Engine repair. Most of the tools we use are hand tools or manual drive, even our lawnmower. But occasionally we'll rent or borrow a tiller. Invariably, something happens that requires me to break out a wrench or a screwdriver and figure the thing out. Knowing something about engine repair is invaluable. If you decide you need a tractor for your homestead, then maintaining and repairing it yourself is almost inevitable. Pick up some books or check with your local community college. Many offer continuing education courses on engine repair. And while I'm pretty sure your local community college doesn't offer Tractor Repair 101, even a small engine class would be helpful. Animal health care. You'll probably specialize in whatever animals you decide to keep, but you'll still need to learn some basic vet care, like how to administer injections and basic first aid. Vet bills are expensive, and there's not always a guarantee that your vet will know the ins and outs of your animals. Your llama might be the only llama she's ever seen. So start talking and start reading. Breeders and herdsmen are a front of knowledge. Yeah. Plumbing. Any and all construction skills are good to know, but especially plumbing. Crops and animals depend on getting water to where it needs to be. Perhaps more importantly, you depend on getting water away from where it shouldn't be. This one is tougher, because you can spend years learning the ins and outs of plumbing. Your best bet is to pick up a book and start watching YouTube videos and then just get your hands dirty. I'm going to have to do that because we'll have to set up a rainwater catchment system on our property and get into all that plumbing stuff. So that was assessing resources. Do you need land? And then notes on zoning and HOA rules. And then the expert thing and helpful skills to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and get off from here and get this up there, and I will see you guys in a bit. Bye, guys.